Welcome, welcome, my people. Welcome to another episode of the Village Boy Podcast. It is your host, the one and only Trez. And before we jump on the China-made antibiotics conversation, I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody that has subscribed so far. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We're growing together as a family. We're seeing the engagement. People are beginning to ask questions and be part of the family. It's a village. It takes a village to raise a child. It's one of the sayings we heard growing up. A community project. It's not a one man's project. It's a community project. So be part of the Village Boy podcast because it's part of a community, it's part of a project that comes together to ensure we're investing in the American children, we're investing on us, and we're making sure America is great again. Let's get on the subject of today. China made antibiotics. Can you believe that China is controlling the pharmaceutical market? China is controlling the steel market. China is basically controlling every market. And you know what? China never stationed any military anywhere, dropped any bombs to gain control, went into war with any country to claim resources, to claim ownership of any territory, or use bullying techniques. China never did any of that. China simply devised a strategy. China said, I would dump whatever product that you're making, make it so cheap that your manufacturers are going to get out of the game. I will be the sole player. I would raise the price up and your people are going to buy from me. I'm going to control the entire pharmaceutical process. This is a Chinese strategy. And China has a strategy for almost every sector. It would require massive concerted effort from allies alike to be able to position themselves and come up with a strategy that would be able to rival that of China. Because right now the Chinese are playing chess while Americans and the rest of the world are playing checkers. The Chinese are so advanced. The Chinese are in the 22nd century while the rest of the world is catching up. I want you to go ahead and listen to this conversation. And if this does not scare you, if this does not make you scared, then you're a Democrat, you're a card carrying Democrat. Let's listen to this conversation and have our say.
After that threat of withholding during the COVID pandemic, what has changed? We've been rushing to bring back those supply chains, repatriate them to America and the West, or, friend shore, as they call it, perhaps as well.
Overall, I think there's been very little change. Companies have habits of how they purchase, and they want to purchase the cheapest product. And we can talk more about this later and how that system works. But if you have a focus only on cheap and not quality and value, it can really get you into trouble.
So these companies go to China, and we're going to come back to the antibiotics. I just wanted to highlight the part of the cheap. These companies go to China to purchase cheap products, turn around, come back to America and sell them for a killing. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about skin color. They don't care about nobody. They don't care about nothing. They care about the bottom line. We want to buy this product for dirt cheap, uh, so cheap, and we come back here and we sell them. You're buying something. You're buying something in China for pennies on a dollar, less than a dollar, and you're coming back and selling it for 30, 40, $50. Shamelessly, shamelessly selling it for 30, 40, $50, making almost 2,000% profits. These are your capitalist vulture investors. These are the people that you, on the right, you salivate over. On the left, they fund your campaigns. These are the same vultures because they have to be able to play both sides so that they can keep this thing going because both sides are just down. But let's keep listening. The juicy part is ahead.
Here's how the antibiotic market, how we lost that. Our last penicillin fermentation plant. China dumped penicillin raw material on the global market in the mid-2000s. Dumped it means they sold it at a very low price with the intention of driving out US, European, and even Indian producers. And at the end of the day, China became the dominant global supplier of penicillin material, and then they raised the price. So I think the reason that we're not winning on this yet is because China has a strategy, and it knows exactly the pain points of each country and each region. And if they see a move in one direction for an important product, they can say, well, we're going to dump a product, lower the price, and that will deter Western manufacturers from getting back into the game.
Well,
And we don't have a strategy like that.
let me just qualify this, that the strategy is not just commercial.
This is an industrial strategy by a foreign government to remain dominant in the sector, and as it sees fit, to use that as leverage over any country that it wants to get what it wants.
You know, after that threat of withholding.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what she just said? The most important thing I heard from that conversation was that China has a strategy. America doesn't have a strategy. You know why America doesn't have a strategy? America does not have a strategy because the billionaires run the government. And the billionaires, the only strategy is themselves. They're not representative of America. They're representative themselves. The government does not have the ability to come up with a strategy to counter China because then you're going against the billionaires. When they say China, who do you think are investing in these companies? I hope you're not thinking this are only the Chinese. No, majority the Americans. That's how they make their money. But the reason that it is a strategy for China is because the Chinese government regulates everything. Nobody is above the Chinese government. The billionaires cannot come together and buy their way into the Chinese government. No, as is done in America, where Elon Musk was able to buy his way into the government, and then now he makes decisions. He can decide whichever way or whatever way he wants. He can push to award himself any kind of contracts. That is the American system of government run by billionaires. And that's why America is not going to have a strategy. America will not be able to have a strategy until we revolt, until we wake up, until we do away with this crop of politicians that have been bought and paid for already. The midterms are around the corner. If Americans are serious, they should primary every politician. That would be the biggest wake-up call in America's history. That would be the biggest revolution in America's history. Primary everybody and vote for the opposing person who has not been bought and or paid for. Each and every last one of your politicians are corrupt. The current one right now. All of them. They've already been bought and paid for. We need new people and we need to recycle them as much as we can till they get the message that they are supposed to work for us, not for the oligarchs, not for the billionaires, not for the vultures. But the right will do no such thing because they have been taught to look up to the wealth of the billionaires and say, one day you can be like us. Keep working hard, keep striving, keep pushing. One day with your effort, you can be a billionaire like myself. The left is preoccupied with 2-year-old transgenders. The left is preoccupied with eradicating any black child that is born in America because they need to have abortions. The left is preoccupied with promoting black abortions, promoting single motherhood, promoting single women, promoting everything that is going contrary to where China is right now. You're never going to hear these conversations in China that a 2-year-old is a transgender. Those are not priorities. If it's anything like that, it's minuscule. Nobody's talking about it. China is focused about dominating the world without firing a single bomb, without stationing troops all over the world. And they're doing it by acquiring your antibiotic market. Imagine that the Chinese are also your drug manufacturers. Your penicillin comes from China. Your antibiotics come from China. Imagine if America went to war with China right now and they needed to take care of wounded soldiers. They need to beg the Chinese, hey, can you send me some penicillin so I could treat my soldiers and then we could keep fighting? Imagine that. Imagine if China gets pissed and just says, I'm not sending antibiotics for all your people suffering from some kind of bacteria infection that requires penicillin. America needs to wake up. America needs a revolution. It's your host, Tres of the Village Boy Podcast. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Let's keep watching. Let's keep supporting and let's keep promoting one another. Thank you.